Sir, with regard to this banking law, there is much to be said. After the nationalization of banks, several issues have cropped up. Here, the government proposes certain amendments, out of which some are necessary. But I would like to draw the attention of the Honorable Minister to the Banking Laws Bill 70 of 1983, in which there is a proposal for prohibition of the acceptance of deposits by unincorporated bodies. About this, I would like to stress this point because society has its structure in this country. There are certain money lenders who are rendering some service to the people. Your branches have not reached there. The entire structure to infrastructure, whatever you name it, is not there. Because of that, Saraf Association have made representation to the government on the way in which you are stopping this thing. If we say you can collect deposits from 10 people only, then this entire thing will come to a standstill. Your other amendments I support, but as far as this thing is concerned, I would like the government to think the basic objective, which is difficult to understand and much less to appreciate, of this underlying objective behind the introduction of the bill, and more particularly the amendment mentioned above, which is likely to have a far-reaching effect on various sectors of the economy. If the government is determined to protect and promote the interest of the depositors or root out malpractices on the part of certain elements in the informal credit market, then there are various ways and means by which these aims could be achieved. It is apprehended that such a drastic measure will result in squeezing the source of credit in the informal credit market, which will not only paralyze the normal course of conduct of business in the urban and rural areas, but also provide wide scope for unhealthy and undesirable practice, a situation which can hardly be viewed with calm. We humbly feel that the rigorous restrictions on acceptance of deposits by the unincorporated bodies has also draconian measures to control them would only cause serious damage to the economy, resulting in hardship to millions of people without any commensurate benefit to anybody. Now, sir, this is the representation that they have made. Since all the branches of our nationalized banks have not reached the rural areas, in the far-flung areas, what would happen to those people? Sir, having stated this, these people had approached be in Bombay. Then, sir, all the Shroff associations are already agitated over it. Now I have got a memorandum which I think has been submitted to the government also. It is Gujarat State Shroff Association. Likewise, that agitation has spread everywhere, and there is an apprehension that if the government goes on with this provision, then the entire transactions which are being carried on smoothly at places where no banking facility is available will come to a stop and stand still, and the rural people and the lower middle class people will be very much affected. Now they have stated the reason why it is an unjustified move and what is the magnitude of the problem. There are certain implications on vital sectors. the move will be an obstruction to informal credit structure. It will be a death blow to distributive trade. It will have a detrimental effect on rural sector. Then it has been mentioned that it will have a crippling impact on indigenous banking. It will aggravate banking unemployment. There are certain drastic penal provisions about which also they have stated. They have mentioned about the erosion of moral values also. Well, sir, so we may keep it aside. We all should be very much concerned with the moral values also. Now it has a far-reaching impact. They have stated all this in their memorandum. I would only like to highlight one or two main points. It has to be realized that the informal credit structure comprising of trade, business, commission agents and indigenous bankers has been rendering valuable services since times immemorial to various sectors of the society and more particularly in rural and semi-urban areas. What is more, they occupied a place of pride due to personalized service to both clients and depositors, coupled with high efficiency and prompt service at low overhead cost. Even though greater percentage of the information credit structure is unsecured vis-a-vis the bank credit, which is mostly secured, the default is very low. Despite substantial expansion of bank branches, not only of the nationalized banks but also the national rural banks and the cooperative banks, the informal credit market continues to serve the increasing needs of the internal trade, industry and commerce of the country, which highlight its viability and indispensability. Even in developed countries like USA, informal and non-banking commercial credit markets operate without being subjected to close customary and legal regulation. Characteristics of commercial banking and its variants. In such circumstances, instead of destroying such informal credit structure, it would be quite useful to revitalize and reinvigorate it